In today's video, I'm going to show you how to pick the best football boots for you. Let's hop into it. So this video is going to be an overview of all the different things you might want to consider when buying a new pair of football boots. It can be really daunting, especially with so many good brands, so many good pairs of football boots out there on the market today. It can be a little bit daunting to go out and purchase a pair, especially during season when you might not be able to go and try some on in store. You have to order them online. That can be a little bit strange. So today I'm going to show you all the things you want to consider when looking at a pair of football boots. Make sure that you watch through the entire video because I cover a lot of niche things that you may not know about, and then we'll go from there, and then you guys can take it, watch other boot reviews on other creators' channels, my channel, and decide which pair of football boots you want to pick up for yourself. First things first, the most important reason why I am making this video is because I get so many questions about what is the best boot for the number 10 position or the number 5 position or a goalkeeper, or can I wear X shoes for being a goalkeeper? And the answer is yes to everything. The best pair of boots for you is the pair of boots that fits you the best, and I cannot stress that enough. So many people have come to me saying, why can't I wear a speed boot as a center back? And I say, I don't know why. I used to wear speed boots and I played center back for a little while over there in Australia. At the end of the day, it's all about what fits your foot the best, because when you have a pair of boots that fits your foot the best, that's going to be the absolute best shoe for you, regardless of what position you play. First things first, let's talk about the outsole. So the outsole you want to consider first because that is the type of boot that you're going to go for. That is what creates most of the shape and the structure of the boot. It's going to provide some snapback to give you some acceleration benefits, and it'll give you traction on different types of surfaces. There is 4 or 5 different types of traction that you can look at. You can look at everything from soft ground, which is for soft grass fields. You can look at firm ground like this, Speedflow 0.1, which is a firm ground boot. Those are for natural grass surfaces, sometimes artificial surfaces if they're really nice. And then you've got AG, which is artificial ground or artificial pitches. You've got TF, which means turf, and that is for the carpet artificial. And then you've got court, or I think it's CT or something, and that is the flat shoes that you often see. Adidas Sambas are flat, and those are for more of a futsal type boot. Those are the different types of outsoles you want to consider when looking at different pairs of football boots. I would buy the boot that you play on that surface the most. Next thing we're going to talk about is the upper. So there's a couple different reasons why the upper is super important. So the upper is what creates the fit and feel. You can usually fit on most sole plates depending on how wide your feet are, but the upper is what really makes the difference of how tight those boots are going to fit. Some boots are made of synthetic, some boots of knit, and other boots are made of leather. Those are kind of the big 3 that are out in today's market. Anything else is probably not that great because those 3 are fantastic. Both of these boots are a combination of synthetic and knit. This is the Puma Ultra 1.3, and this is the Messi Speedflow, the Adidas X Speedflow 0.1. So these are both speed boots. Both of these uppers are a combination of knit material and synthetic, and that's something to consider when you're looking at the type of conditions you play in, the type of grip you want on the ball, and just the overall moldability and adaptability of that upper to your foot. Next thing we're going to talk about is the collar. Now, I know this is sort of a weird conversation to have. When 2014 happened and the World Cup happened, the Superfly 4 and the Magista Ober 1 came out with a collar that was about that high. Nowadays, you've got all sorts of high top boots from Adidas. Puma's got the Future 1.2, which is a little bit more of a collar than something like this or something like this, but they are a little bit raised, so that is something to consider. They provide absolutely no structural benefit to either the boot or your ankle. Let me repeat that. There is no medical or structural benefit. They're not going to help you get through an ankle sprain or anything like that. They're not built for support. They are built to give you a seamless sensation, and it was just like wearing a big pair of socks. So that's what they were originally meant for. Both of these are low-cut models. Obviously, this tongue goes a little bit higher on the front, same with this one, but at the end of the day, that's not that big of a deal because we've seen that before. But just be aware of if a collar is something you like. Most brands will offer a low-top model like the Predator. The Predator Freak Plus are a super high-cut collar, and the Predator Freak 0.1 Low are like these. So I prefer the low cut for the most part. The Puma Future 1.2s are fantastic boots, so that's a total option for me. I'm definitely willing to wear something that's a little bit higher than a traditional low cut, but for the most part, low cut's the way I go. The final thing that we're gonna talk about for the construction of a boot is whether it has laces or not. And I don't mean does it come with laces in the box, okay? So it's whether or not the boot is laceless. So as I mentioned right before this, the Predator Freak Plus has no laces on it, and it is a construction that's built towards a laceless model, whereas something like this or something like this is built to have laces on it because it's got a really loose tongue area, even if it is a one-piece upper, so that you can have a much more adaptable fit. Oftentimes with laceless boots, you've got a much tighter fit right out of the box, and it's much slower to break in because it has to keep that structural integrity so that your foot doesn't move around in the boot as much as it would if it was the same material or if you just pulled the laces off a boot that was meant to have laces on it. So that's something to consider when you're looking at boots. I actually think the the X Speedflow Plus is a fabulous pair of speed boots. I would absolutely wear them in a game. I think those are by far the best speed boots that have, well, number one, the best speed boots that have ever been produced. The point ones I think are objectively better because they have laces, but they're the best laceless speed boots and the best laceless boots that have ever been produced, in my opinion, and they fit so well right out of the box. So that's something to consider, whether or not they have laces on them. Now we're going to talk about different styles of boots. So these are both speed boots, as I mentioned before, and you've got 4 major categories when looking at the type of boot that you want to decide between. So we've gone over the actual construction of the boot, maybe what you're looking for in a particular boot. Now we're going to look at the types of boots that these are marketed towards. Again, they are marketed. Some boots are actually much lighter, so they're built for speed, such as both of these actually, but especially the Puma Ultra is very, very light, so it's gonna feel like a track spike on your foot. That's definitely a speed category. So we'll go first with the speed category because I've got 2 of those in front of me. Oftentimes, speed boots are much thinner. They are much lighter than a lot of the other boots on the market, although other categories have been catching up as well. And you can often expect them to have chevron studs on the bottom, things that make it much easier to stand on your toes and move forward. So that's something to consider when looking at a speed boot. Now, speed boot category right now has the New Balance Furon, the Puma Ultra 1.3, and I'm talking current boots, X Speedflow 0.1 and Plus models, the Mizuno Morelia Neo Beta 3s, that's the most recent model of the speed boot from Mizuno, and then of course you have the Nike Vapor 14 Elite, which is sort of the talisman and the Superfly as well. So those are the speed boot categories. Next, you've got control boots. Now, the Magista Obra was a control boot. Today, in today's market, we've got a couple different control boots to pick from. Oftentimes, they've got really nice texturing on the upper to help with that control. So you've got control pods from Nike, you've got the Demon Skin spikes from Adidas. The Puma brand sort of markets their Future Z 1.1 as the ultimate control boot. And so you've got a couple different options in the control category. Often they've got a combination of really nice conical studs and then some of the chevron studs as well. Occasionally some bladed studs in those types of boots as well, similar to the old CTR 360 Maestro Elites, where you had all bladed studs and it was great for that lateral mobility. Not as great for the pivots and stuff, I would add, but definitely great for that lateral and forward moving mobility. So that is the control variant. Then you've got boots that are built towards touch on the ball. So again, it's all marketing jargon, but touch boots oftentimes are built towards simplicity and elegance. So things like the Puma Sense, the Adidas Sense 0.1, which is the Copa, the new Copa, the Tiempo Legend Elite 9, those are also touch boots, and then the Puma King Platinum and the Mizuno Rebula Cup. So as you can see, all of those are a leather or a leather/synthetic combination boots. So those are awesome for players who want a really classic touch on the ball, but it's got modern attributes, most often modern sole plates, paired with really thin leather uppers that gives you a little bit of cushion, but a really lightweight and nimble feel. The Rebula Cups and the Sense Pluses are 2 of my favorite boots on the market right now. Both of those will be in my rotation as I start to train again. And then finally, you've got the OG boots. And as you saw the review, hopefully a couple weeks ago, the Mizuno Morelia 2s, and they are classic boots. So that's the Copa Mundial, the Nike Premier, the Mizuno Morelia 2s. It's the really, really classic pairs of football boots. The Puma King when that was available. So these are boots that are just the OGs, the ones that have lasted generations, the boots that have been out since the 70s or 60s, and they've improved little things as we've moved on in time. Those are the OG boots. Once you have an idea of the type of construction you want, and then of course, what type of attributes you want in a boot. So does it want to be controlled? Do you want a speed boot? Do you want something that's geared towards touch, that's really soft when you touch the ball? Those are things to think about. Oftentimes, I only have the top end models on my channel because those are the boots that I actually wear. I don't have a lot of takedown models. Definitely check out Instagrams like Proper Retro Football Boots, who offer those takedown models that are really awesome to wear, and they are less on your wallet, especially when you look at boots like the Ultra or the Speedflow Plus. You're not gonna get the same Carbotex insole. You're not gonna get the same crazy lightweight that you are in some of the takedown models like the Ultra 2.3s. But just keep in mind that there are definitely really great options when it comes to takedown models. But if you're willing to spend the money on some of the high-end boots, definitely consider all those attributes that I went over in this video and look at what you really want in your football boots, because that can make the difference between a really pleasant experience on the field and a really not pleasant experience on the field. In fact, fun story, the boots that I was breaking in, both the Predators and the Pumas while I was in, and then the Vapors actually as well, that I was breaking in Australia, might have actually been the reason why I broke my foot. So if that's not a reason to get boots that actually fit your foot, even if you absolutely love the Puma Ultra and that's all you want to wear, if it doesn't fit your foot, don't buy it. At the end of the day, the best boot for you is the boot that fits you the best, okay? So that is it for the video, guys. Thanks so much for joining me today. Let me know down in the comments below which 3 boots that you would get out of the entire list and why. What attributes do you like about them? What attributes are the reason that you picked that over something else? And maybe there's a boot on there that you were kind of going in between this and another one. So maybe you put 4 on there instead of 3. Put that down in the comments below. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, guys. Like the video if you got value from it. Really helps me in the YouTube algorithm. And of course, that is it for the video, guys. Be awesome. Take care. I'll see you guys in the next video.